Hello everyone, my name is Mesama Delight and welcome back to my channel. Here I post sewing tutorials. Today's tutorial is about how to make a cowl neck dress with back straps. So let's just get right into the video. First thing we're doing is to draft our pattern. So we need our shoulder line, our chest line, our bust line, our under bust line and our half length line. Here I went ahead to draw my shoulder line, my bust line, my under bust line and my half length line. If you notice, there's no allowance line here and my half length line. So first of all, I'm going to go over to our shoulder line. You divide your shoulder measurement by 2. So if your shoulder is 14, divide it by 2, 7. Whatever your shoulder is, just make sure you divide it by 2. You make a mark at that point. For my chest line, I do add 1 inch division of my shoulder measurement. So that's how I get my chest line. So I'm adding 1 inch division of my shoulder measurement now to get my chest line. So making a mark at that point. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler to create a straight line. So this new line I'm marking right now is my chest line. You label it CH, that's for chest line. So on this my chest line, I want to mark the division of my shoulder measurements here. Connect the shoulder those lines together. That's the shoulder measurement, my shoulder line, and the shoulder measurement at my chest line. Good. So after doing that, for my neckline, I'm just marking 3 by 3. Then I'll go right to this line and I'll go down by 1 inch. This 1 inch I went down by is to create my shoulder slope. So on my 3 by 3, I'll use my pattern master to create a curve. Then from my shoulder line of my neckline, I will go all the way to that 1 inch I went down by my armhole line. This is just to create that shoulder slope. Now for my shoulder slope to my chest line, I want to get the midpoint. Make a mark at the center. Now on that center, I will go in by half of an inch. Then using my pattern master, I will create a curve from my shoulder slope to the half of an inch and from that half of an inch all the way to my chest line. Labeling my chest line CH. Okay. So now on this my chest line, I decided to go up by 3 inch. You can go up by 3 inch, you can go up by 3.5, you can go out by 4 inch. Just depends on how you want your cowl effect to look like. So I'm going up by 3 inch from my chest line. Then I'll use my pattern master to create a straight line. Now after doing that, what you want to do now is to just divide your body measurement and impute it in. We don't need any dot here. Like we're not working with any dots. So on your chest line, you divide your bust measurement by 4, mark a mark. Don't forget to add your extra 2-inch allowance. On your under bust, you divide it by 4. Don't forget to add your extra 2-inch allowance. On your half length line, you divide your half length just your waist measurement. You divide your waist measurement by 4 and don't forget to add your extra 2-inch allowance. That's done. Next, I'm going to use our pattern master to connect those measurements we just marked. So connect from your bust line, that's from your chest line to your under bust line, and from your under bust line all the way to your half length line. So I'm trying to take away those sharp edges at my under bust line. That's what I just did. So now, what I want to do next, I want to cut this out from my half length line all the way to that 3 inch I went up by. Bringing up that part now, we want to divide, that from our chest line, we want to open it up. We're not going to totally open it up. We're going to leave like a little bit of paper to hold the two parts together. This so that we can create our cowl effect. So just when you use that part, you just make sure there is like you didn't cut through. You just leave a little gap. So this is how the thing should look like. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get my pattern master. Sorry, my pattern paper. Open this up. Then I will place um my I'll place my drafted out bodies on it. So I'm going to pick up this drafted bodies right now and I'll place it this way using my tape. That's my tape, not measuring tape, my solo tape. I'll tape these two paper together so that my bodies wouldn't be like moving about. Now to get this cowl effect, we need to like spread this point. Like you see these two from our chest, and we need to open it up. Like we need to spread it. So I'm going to use 4-inch gap. That's for my chest line to that for my chest line. I'm going to spread my chest line by 4 inch. So I want to push it down to that 4 inch. Now the reason I use 4 inches that so the cow wouldn't be too, will I say too deep, and my bust will be exposed. So I feel like you should use 4. You can also use 5. It depends on the size you're working with, or you can use lesser than 4. So don't forget to use your tape, your cello tape, to tape this down so that this wouldn't be moving, because I was still going to cut round this again. Now that that's done, I'll use my pattern master to join those, like you see this part I'm joining, I'm creating a straight line. You do yours like that. So I'm creating my straight line at that point, at that angle. So now that's all. What I'll do next is use my scissors and I'll cut round this. And this is it. So we're done drafting a pattern for this. So time for us now to bring our fabric. I'm working with this red Duchess material. What I did here is I folded this my fabric into two. You know this like a gown. The only thing we drafted is just our upper piece, nothing else. So I folded this fabric into two. So I'm kind of like we're going to draw the rest of the body. So now we have, it's a gown. So if we, our hip line all the way to our full length is missing. So this is a combination of, we're going to use both pattern and freehand to make this clothes. So right now I want to just draw the remaining part of this. So I'm getting my full length line. That is, I'm working with 58, adding my extra 2-inch allowance, we have 60. Then I will take it all the way up. When I reach my half length line, that is my half length line, I'm going to make a mark at that point. And let me show you what I mean. So that line you see now is my half length line. Okay, now. So on this my half length line, remember I say my half length line, I'm going to divide my waist measurement by 4 and add my extra 2-inch allowance. That's done. For my hip line, I do get my hip line by coming down by 9 inch from my half length line. So for my half length line, I'm going down by 9 inch. Now on that 9 inch I went down by, I'll divide my hip measurement by 4 and also add my extra 2-inch allowance to it. We're going to use our hip measurement to go all the way down. So whatever you have there, you're going to keep on marking it until you reach the full length of your gown. I'm just marking my hip measurement at that part. So now what we're going to do next is time for us to connect each of these points we have marked. So from my waistline to my hip line, and from my hip line all the way down. So this isn't straight, I also straighten this up. So I'm done. I said to use my pin to hold these fabrics down because I want to draw it, like I want to push it down so I can add my pattern here to complete this up. Picking up my pattern, I'll place it this way, half length line to half length line, and you use your pin to hold this down. After using your pin to hold this down, you can now go ahead to cut round this. So right now I'm just using my pin to make sure that this pattern paper do not like move when I start cutting it. So it wouldn't like alter my body measurement. So now I will just cut round this. This is what I have after cutting it. We are done with the front part of it. So now time for us to work on the back. So I'm just going to fold this up and take it aside. Then I'll pick up my material and fold it again into two. So this is it. I folded it again into two. And I'm going to bring up this my front and place it on top of this. Don't forget to bring out your zipper allowance. I want mine to have a zipper. So this part you're seeing right now is my zipper allowance. My zipper allowance is going to be 2 inch. So this cowl dress of mine is going to have a side slit just at one part. So you can either, if you want to just have a side slit, choose between you the slit being at your left hand side or your right hand side. So I just from my half length line, I put my tip at my half length and I just use my chalk to mark where I want the slit to start from. But that isn't important at the moment because we're not going to use it until after we are almost done with the dress. So now I'm just drawing out my half length line on my back piece too. Okay. Now we're done with that. Time for us to cut round this. So when I reach that half length line, I'm just going to go up a bit. Okay. Taking away this our front piece because we won't be needing it anymore. We had served its purpose. Okay. So now I decided to go up from this line I marked now. I just went up by I think it's 2 inch, 3 inch. It's not important, but go up by 2 inch or one inch. So like there won't be any mistake on your waistline of the back. So I went up on my waistline and I'm going to cut through that part I just went up with. So this is it. I'm still going to cut out that thing I went up with too. It's not needed. So I'm just going to create draw my half length line very visible. Now I'll cut using the half length line. The only reason I didn't do it back then was like I didn't want to make any mistake. Okay, so now that's done. I'm done with that part. This is what I did next. I used my tape, place it at my half length line, and I decided to go down by 1.5. This is just so that my back, I don't want my back to be straight. I want to kind of like relax, to kind of like have a V. That's why I went down by that 1.5. So now I'm just creating that V. After doing that, I'll use my scissors to cut this up and then I will separate my back. That's at this midpoint to just open it up. You separate it just like you see me doing right now from top to bottom. That's at my zipper part too. After doing this, I'll use my chalk to write zip at that part I just separated now. This so that we wouldn't get confused when we start sewing. Done. That's done. So I'll fold this part right now. I'll fold using my Emmy gum just like this. You can fold using 1 inch. I'll fold it like this using 1 inch, and I'll use my Emmy gum to fold this. And I'll also do the same thing for my front piece too. We're going to need the lining for this. So I folded my material into two, and I place, like you see I'm placing this, place yours like you see me. We need a lining to turn up this our front part. Not all of them sha, from our, like a little bit down below our half length. So I'm placing this way. You can use your pin to hold this down. So I'm using my chalk to go down for my half length a bit, like where I want the lining to stop. It's not like a full lining, just a half lining. So I'm just going down a bit from my full length line. In fact, you can go down by 4 inch from your full length line to avoid having line. So you go down from your half length line, sorry. Okay. After you go down my half length line, next I want to cut around this. That's from my half length line all the way to the up part of sorry, all the way to the up part of this. So cutting round. And we are done with that part. So I'm going to take away those excesses out. So now at this point, I'm now removing my pin from my pattern. Okay. So now this time open this up so you can just see how it is looking like. So at this point now, I didn't like how the neckline is looking like, kind of like slanted upward, and I didn't like that. So I want it to kind of like be straight. So look at, if I open this up, you will notice like it kind of points at the center part. Do you see? It kind of points at the center part, and like I don't want that. So I folded this back again into two. Then using my chalk, I kind of like made a dot, like a straight dot, a straight line, how I want it to look like. Then I'll use my scissors to cut that. I'll repeat the same thing for my lining piece too, because my lining piece cannot be shooting out like that. Hey, I'm just trimming the lining part too. You know, I said that our back has like straps is tied. So now what we do, how we got that, achieve that straps, that bringing up my front piece now. I already have a mark where my half length is. So I'm just going to extend the line to the other part of my front. Okay. So I want to extend the line to that part of my front right now. Make a mark at that part. Connect the two lines. So where I want my strap to be is at this armhole part, hold on, at this part. Then I then decided to just divide from my that part to my half length line into two, but I didn't work with that later on. I think that I went down from that line, that mark I just made. I went down by 5 inch all the way down. I didn't divide this thing I'm dividing right now. It didn't work, so I didn't use it. But just know that we're going to have like what I call a strap hook, I guess, on that part, another side. Now I created this. I went ahead to cut my mascara. Like I went to cut it into, let me see, when dividing it, like when open we have 1.5, when folded we have 0.75. Then I went ahead to sew, like to turn it up, though it's kind of smaller than that 0.75, but just know I divided like like a bias. I turned up like something like a bias. So I'm making the same mark at the front. So I know exactly where I want to put those. Let me be calling this strap hook. So this is what I'm talking about. After turning this up, I cut them using so each of these thing by length, they are 2 inch, and let's say by width we have 0.5, or even though it's going to be above 0.5 just by little, probably 0.6. So see where I'm placing it. I'm placing it this way. The part we're going to like sew it on the front like this. If we go to our machine, we just tag it on the body. This is what I'm talking about. So if you notice now, that dimension I made, I went down by 1.5. So this is just how yours should be looking like this. So now time for us to turn up. Before I turn up too, I'm going to add long straps at our shoulder part. So this should be 60 by length. It's 60 by length. So and by width you have the same 0.5. So I'm going to place it at this point. I have one part turned up and one part not turned up. So the part that isn't turned up, I will just place it this way, leaving half of an inch by the side for our turn up allowance. So make sure you leave half of an inch by the side for our turn up allowance. Then using your pin, you hold us down. Going over to the other side, you get your strap again, leaving half of an inch, you pin it the same way I pinned this one. And that's done. So now that we're done with that, time for us to turn this up. So now pushing this aside, we're going to get our so leaving it there, we're going to get our lining, placing it front to front. Then we're going to sew around it. We're going to sew around the neckline, the armhole, and the sides. So sew around the neckline, the armhole, and the sides. Please do not sew on your straps. Try most approachable to push your straps away from your sewing so that you won't stitch on it too. And this is just it. I've finished sewing around it, so now I'm going to trim out the excesses. After trimming out the excesses, do make nudges around what you sewed, then you can turn this up. And after turning this up, this is what I have. This just need a very good press. You need to press this down with your iron. The part you're seeing right now, it's a back piece. So I say I turned up the waistline of this, like I cut a fabric, then I used it to turn up the waistline of this. So I turned up the waistline of my back, and I also went ahead to fold the down part. So now I want to put my zipper. I'm going down by 10 inch from my half length like that for my waistline. Then on that, I'll start marking that 2 inch all the way down. So I'm just trying to take away my zipper allowance. And after doing this, I will sew round, like from this point, for my 10 inch, I will sew all the way down. After doing that, I'll go ahead to attach my zipper to this. This is how my already attached zipper looks like. So on to the next step, which is to impute our body measurement so we can shape this up. I have already ironed the front of this, and this is just how it's looking like. So we want to fold it into two, equal to equal. Make sure it's equal to equal. That from top to bottom they should be equal to equal. Fold this well into two. So here I'm trying to make that my half length line very visible. Okay. Now on that half length line, I will divide my waist measurement by 4. Make a mark there. Now remember what I said, that this thing has a slit on one part of um on one side of it. So I want this one to make a mark so I will know where that slit will be. You can either put your slit at your right hand side or your left hand side. Mine is at my left hand side. So I'm placing my tape at my half line, that's 16, and I'm marking where I want my slits to start from. That's just it. So now when I'm shaping it, it's going to stop at that line. It wouldn't go beyond that. I'm going down my 9 inch. That's it. This line I just did now is locating my hip line. So divide my waist measurement by 4, mark it there. My hip measurement by 4, mark it there. And on the other line, I am using my hip measurement. So I'll go ahead to shape this. Don't forget the slit is at only one side. You can do whatever you want. If you want yours to be at two sides, if you don't want to have any slits, the choice is yours. After marking that, you get your back and place it on your front to front. Use your pin to hold this down and go ahead to sew on exactly on that line that you just made. Don't forget you place it equal to equal from the full length side, that's from the bottom part all the way up. So here I've sewn along the lines. So at this point now, I choose the left hand side where I want my slits to be. So this is what I want to do. Don't forget you will weave this dress. So weaving is important. So you're going to open this up this way. Now you see the way I like those allowance, you're going to use your iron to press it down flat and use your emi gum to hold this up. So placing this way, you put your emi gum inside it, then iron it. Just so that that part you can be able to see the slit very well. It would look like the slit will come out. And this is the end result. So this is our cowl dress with strap. This is how my upper part looking like that. My neckline. Let me show you the slit. And this is my slit. So thank you very much for sticking to the end of this video. I hope you were able to learn how to this tutorial was easy and was helpful. You were able to learn how to achieve your own cowl dress with straps. And I hope I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.